In this video, I want to talk to you about how go broke as a car dealer. I can say this, I've made a lot of mistakes. I just want you to avoid them. One of the biggest ones is if you decide to get into that business, there's a lot of licensing and regulations, and people run right out. You gotta get a location and sign in a big lease. You gotta keep your overhead low. You don't even know if you like it. My advice on that is just first start doing a couple cars, and that's why we're making this channel, is to help maybe just get in to start doing it, flip a few cars, get good at doing that first before you go signing some monster lease. Because as soon as you do that and you have your dealership set up, you're gonna have everybody third party that's in the dealer space coming at you. And that's a whole nother huge issue that it just costs a fortune. And I'm talking about marketing, third party, websites, cars for sale, auto trader. All these cost money. It'll kill you. It'll just bury you. You don't need it all. And I think once you're already you establish you've got your lot, it's already enough just having some overhead, and you get all these other little car history reports like Carfax. That stuff is very expensive. It will break you in 10 seconds. You have to decide on where you're headed also when it comes to the financing of the cars or the niche cars that you're doing. So if you're going to do what 95% of the dealers are doing, and you're going to buy a $20,000 everyday driver, a minivan, something to that realm, well, you're competing with all the franchise guys that have this huge monster infrastructure, millions of dollars. They have the banks in line. You're wasting your time for very, very minimal profit. So first, start flipping a few cars, find your niche before you even sign some kind of long-term lease and get licensed and all that. That's a huge problem. And another real big problem is a lot of the dealers that are out there are using a floor plan or a financing line from a bank, and it'll just eat you alive. Even if you only have a couple, you need to own the cars. How a floor plan is bad and just eats you alive. First of all, it's your business. They will come and check on the cars. They'll hold the titles. It's almost like you lose control, and it's your business. It's not the floor plan's business. So, and as that car sits there, it starts eating on that floor plan line. So that's another huge mistake, is floor planning the cars. Just buy them, just like real estate. Paid for real estate makes money. Paid for cars make money. And they're not going to sit there and grind away with interest payments and curtailments, is what they're called on a floor plan. And you're going to get all these salesmen that come in from all these little different, like the history reports. They're going to try to say, oh, you need Carfax. Well, when you start buying and selling cars, you're looking at them. That's your job as the dealer. Don't make the mistake in paying $500, $600, $700 for some history report. Most of the stuff isn't on there anyway. I get it that it might help you as a guide. It costs a ton to do that. It'll just bury you right from the jump. Another thing too that's going to eat you up is, when you're buying and selling cars, you're doing it. If you get a dealership, you're going to have salesmen. It's a business. Now you're running a business. You can't do it all. And once you have that license and a store, and now you got all this overhead, you gotta have people. You can't be the salesman. Maybe you just want to sell, or maybe you just want to wholesale. You got to kind of be careful, otherwise you're gonna go broke doing it. Your decisions up front make a big difference when it comes to the dealership cost and the overhead. If you're just doing a few cars here and there, they'll just put it for sale on like Facebook Marketplace. I'm not a fan of that at all. If it's free, you're gonna get all that nonsense, and you're wasting your time dealing with a lot of tire kickers, as they used to say. I guess my advice on that would be to pick one national site. If you're going to spend a little money on advertising the cars, whether it's Auto Trader or Cars.com, Cars Guru, Cars for Sale, whatever you decide, they're all great. places to advertise your cars. Obviously, you have your own website. You got that cost also, but just keep it small, keep it simple. Otherwise, that's gonna eat you up. You definitely have to think for yourself when you're doing it, and not allow all these third parties to come in there. Warranty. The warranty company's going to come in. They're going to want to sell you on their product. Depends on your niche, what you're selling. Are you going to compete in that market? Are you going to sell warranties? It's more cost. Another big problem is all the fees that you're paying when you're buying cars from auctions. You do not need to buy cars from the auction. That's something that all dealers think that you need to do. Not at all. You can buy from private owners. Take your time looking at them. Transportation costs. If you're buying cars online at auctions far away, you got costs that'll eat you up. That's all your profit. All of a sudden, you got all these little things that are just eating you alive. Cost, transportation, the marketing, the third-party history reports, the finance institutions, the floor plans is what I'm saying. Like, it'll grind you down. Keep your costs down, keep your overhead low, take your time. Don't need to run out, get licensed. Some simple things to do, maybe start working with some local dealer, independent dealers, get your feet wet, find your niche. Otherwise, you will go broke fast. Look, I'm just doing this to help you out. I've made the mistakes. And probably one of the biggest ones, and you have to decide if you're going to get a subprime lender or third-party lenders. There's a lot of specialized banks that finance the cars for the customers. They all have rules and regulations, and they take a large percentage up front. That will it'll destroy you, and you're building out portfolios for these banks that, they're getting all the profit. You're doing all the work. You're the one getting the car, reconning the car, selling the car, and then they're financing it, making all the real profit. So from the beginning, you better decide on how you're are you selling cash cars? Are you selling cars that are hideout or enthusiast cars? Maybe you decide you're going to go with that traditional dealer, but be careful on who you select to finance those cars. These are just some of the little things that it could save you a lot or cause you to go broke fast. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, hit the little notification button so you don't miss a new episode.